Hey there, Pre-Algebra class. Let's go ahead and get started with section 9.4 that's on page 363. We are looking at graphing linear functions. So we already talked about what a function is. A function is a relation where the x-coordinate does not repeat. So it is a series of numbers, a set of numbers that don't have the same x-coordinate. So when we're looking at graphing a linear function is just a set of numbers that when you plot them make a straight line. Okay, so that is a linear function is a graph, a function whose graph is a line. And in a linear function, there are no more than two variables. Okay, I should probably write this down. Whoops, not there. Okay, no more than two variables, and this is a line. Each variable is only to the first power with no exponents on a variable. The variables that we tend to use for our linear functions are y's and x's. So we'll be looking at a few examples for that. Let's take a look at our book here. Whoops, I'm in totally wrong section. My bad. Okay, there we go. Sometimes you'll see it as a function is expressed as f of x. F of x is the same thing as y. So I don't want to confuse you guys, but f of x just means that it is a function of x. So y is another word for output, and x is input. F of x is also a word for output. X is still input. So a function of x, that is what f of x means. Also, an ordered pair that makes the equation true when the x and y values are substituted into the equation is called a solution to the equation, and that represents a point on the line. So let's look at this example right here. Example 1. Is -1, 2 a solution to the equation? And our equation is y is equal to 2x plus 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace x with -1, and then we're going to replace y with 2. And that is what they did right here. They just, replaced those numbers, and then they solved. So 2 is equal to 2. That doesn't change. 2 times -1 is -2, which is right here. -2 plus 3 is 1. 2 is not equal to 1, which means that this point does not exist on this line. Okay, that's just a point that's hanging out somewhere on the coordinate plane, but it is not on this line. Okay, let's look at this second example. We're doing the same thing. We're plugging in x. Our x coordinate is 2. We're putting that where our x is right here, and our y coordinate is 7. So we're going to plug that into y over there. Okay, when you plug them in, you should have 7 is equal to 2 times 2 plus 3. 2 times 2 is 4, so 7 is equal to 4 plus 3. Wow, 7 is equal to 7, which means that this point is a solution and it lies on this line. Okay, moving on to our next bit of notes. Okay, all you need to graph a line is 2 points. So I'm going to see if I can do a little drawing here, if this will load. Maybe it won't load. Alrighty then, it doesn't want to work for me. But all you need is 2 lines. You put a line here, you put a line here, yeah, like my invisible lines, and then you just draw a line right through it. Where's our example here? Okay, there we go. And when you are drawing a point, drawing a line through these 2 points, note that the line doesn't just end at the points. We're not making a segment. This is a line, which means that it continues infinitely. Okay, so it's going to go up that way infinitely. So in order to show that it goes on forever, you're putting an arrow. like to infinity and beyond, okay? And then you're going to put an arrow on this bottom part as well, because it's just going to go on and on and on. So just remember that when you are making your own graphs. Okay. Sometimes making a table can help organize your ordered pairs. The x values go in the left column. The function, whoops, that does not say function, just kidding. Function goes in the middle column, and the y value, which is going to be your output, also called f of x, goes into the right column. Let's satisfy the equation f of x is equal to x minus 4. So whenever they tell you find 3 ordered pairs, guess what? There is no wrong answer here. Well, I mean, if you do some math wrong, but you can pick any points that lie on this line, and that's a lot of different points. In this example, they use -2, 0, and 2. So once you figure out which x coordinates you're going to do, then you're going to plug it into the function. Our function is right here in the middle, x minus 4. You're going to plug it in, and after you plug it in and do the order of operations, you're going to get your y value, your output, or your f of x. These are all the same thing. So you plugged in -2. -2 minus 4 is -6. And here's your first ordered pair. You plugged in -2 and you got -6. Let's look at 0. You plug in 0 to the equation. 0 minus 4 is -4. Oh, here is our next ordered pair. You plugged in 0 and got -4. So sometimes, like I said, it's easier to make a table where you just put your x's and make it go through the function, get your y's, and then you put those two together to make your ordered pair. Okay, you're going to be doing this with your other examples as well. So for example 4, they just plugged in the points, they got their ordered pairs, and then they plotted them. So really all you need is 2 points to make a line. I do recommend that you find 3 ordered pairs when you're graphing a function, just to make sure that that you got the right points. Okay. There's another example of ordered pair that you can write down in your notes. And let's see if we look at our last one. This is a fun function. We have x divided by 3. And when you have a function that's a fraction, I would choose x coordinates that are divisible by 3 so you don't have to deal with the fractions. If you chose 1 as your x coordinate, then you'd have 1/3 plus 1, and then that would give you a fraction for y, and it's kind of harder to graph that way. But if you choose an x value that's divisible by 3, then and it tells you right here, then the y coordinates will be integers, which means it will not be a fraction, and it'll be easier to plot those points. And for this homework assignment, it is page 366, 1 through 12. Ooh, probably shouldn't be showing you guys answers to that. So anyway, hopefully this video helps, and you just let me know if you have any questions. Have a good one.